Hi, you're listening to Childless and Moving Onward. This is the place where we talk about thriving in life when you're a woman who is childless, not by choice, regardless of the road that brought you to childlessness. Welcome to episode 30 of Childless and Moving Onward. I'm Gail Miller, a speaker, life coach, and physician, and your host of this podcast where we tackle life's complexities that come with the very real but often overlooked experience of living life as a woman who is childless, not by choice. I try to add in a sprinkle of humor because this is a heavy topic, and or maybe it's just me, but I need some relief. Along with it comes a dash of heart. Today, I'm diving into a topic that might hit home for some of you, and that is why something that's seemingly benign, seemingly simple and nothing, something like recycling, can feel utterly pointless, can be triggering and bring up so much of the pain when you're childless, not by choice. So this topic highlighted a couple of issues for me that we in the childless community face. And it came up in a group conversation. Three of us who are childless, not by choice, we were talking about the difficulties of finding meaning in life and the challenges of looking to the future. And then one of the women brought up how even something as simple as recycling was triggering. It brought up the what's the point attitude. Because, well, what is the point when you have no one's future to be concerned about? She brought it up with hesitation, thinking that we wouldn't understand, or maybe she thought we'd think it was silly. But here's the thing. As it turns out, we didn't think any of that. We all had the same experience. In fact, just that morning, it came up for me. As I was taking care of some boxes, breaking them down, taking off the tape, the thought of what's the point came up. I mean, after all, we have friends who have kids and grandkids who think recycling is ridiculous. They don't see the need. They don't see the point. So I started thinking, and this is not a criticism of them or anybody else who thinks recycling is ludicrous and not needed. That's not the point of this. But I started thinking, why am I putting all the effort into recycling and trying to do what I think is a good thing for the earth? Why am I doing all of that? Who am I leaving this earth to? Others with kids and have future generations to help out don't care. So, frankly, my thought was, why should I? And it triggered me. I got mad. How unfair life can be. Now, I did what I've learned to do when I'm triggered. I didn't push the feelings away, but that's not the topic of this. It eventually washed over, and I continued on doing what for me feels like the right thing to do, even though I'm not leaving this earth to biological children. And the other woman, as I said, all three of us were like, yeah, we've had the same thoughts about recycling. And what we also had in common was that we each thought it was only us who had thoughts like that. We thought nobody else could possibly feel that way. So we thought we were totally alone. And I don't know about the other two. I didn't specifically ask. But before we brought it up, part of what I was going through was, God, how ridiculous that, this is how you're feeling. But it's not. I'm not alone. This is not unique. So this is sort of a two-parter. It's mostly about this legacy void and a little bit about this I'm alone in this attitude about nobody else gets this. And of course, no one else is in our shoes and no one understands our each individual situation. But no, we're not alone in this. There are so many other childless women who don't want to be. So let's start with the legacy void, or the I don't have the mini me I had hoped to have. Let's face it, when you're childless, not by choice, you might feel like you've been handed a box labeled future generations, except your box is empty. You know what I'm talking about, that phantom box that was supposed to come with a cute little human, someone who would carry on your legacy. And instead, you're left staring at your recycling bin wondering, what's the point? Why does recycling seem to be a problem for us? Well, it's not about the recycling. It's about the things like recycling that are the ultimate in putting trust in future investment. Separating plastics, rinsing out yogurt containers, and flattening cardboard boxes. Yeah, these are mundane tasks. But without little ones to inherit what you are trying to create, if you view it as an eco-friendly legacy, without children to leave the earth to, is your recycling bin just a shrine to unfulfilled dreams. And again, it's not about the recycling. It's about what it represents. So for those who don't believe in recycling, don't do it. This is, again, saying nothing about you. It's about what the recycling represents. And that is a future investment that we wonder, do we even have to do anything about that? Why even bother is a painful question. Every time you toss something into that bin, it can feel like a reminder of what's missing in your life. You might think, is this really going to matter when I'm not even leaving the earth to anyone? Which we are, just not biological children, but that doesn't enter our minds because the pain is so glaring. But with this, it's like this, should I just throw out everything in the trash and call it a day? Why am I putting this effort into it? There's an emotional weight that comes with thinking of those recycling bins and anything else that is future or forward thinking. Those recycling bins and anything else they represent can feel like emotional black holes. You toss in a plastic bottle and suddenly you feel like you're tossing in your hopes and your dreams right alongside it. And again, you're thinking, I have no future generation, so why save my old takeout containers? But the reality is that taking care of things like recycling, the things that feel like an investment into the future, that you feel like is pointless because you don't have a legacy to leave. No. It can be about more than just personal legacy only with children. Our impact on the world doesn't have to be limited to our own mini-me's that we won't have. The earth isn't just for our non-existent children or grandchildren, it's for everyone. So while you may not be leaving behind your own little prodigy, you're still part of this grand human experience. And again, it's not just about recycling. You don't have kids, but you can still leave this world with a brighter future for others in many ways, you can still leave a positive mark on others. The second part that I want to touch on is this common belief that we all had that we were the only ones thinking this way. And we're the only ones who feel about the recycling and other things that are future or forward thinking. We're alone in these thoughts and feelings. And each seemed to be a little apprehensive to bring it up, but I'm glad one of us realized it was okay to talk about and got that conversation going. What I'm getting at here is we think we're alone in our feelings. We're not. We sometimes think there's something wrong with what we're feeling. There isn't. Being childless not by choice is painful. All thoughts and feelings about it are valid. And there is nothing wrong with any of us. Now, getting back to the main topic for today, that's looking at the future and legacy, feeling like it's pointless because who is there to leave a legacy to? While it feels like only biological children would care, that's not true. I can't count the number of people in my life over the years who have passed and have left a legacy that matters to so many, including people who are not their children. On a regular basis, people are posting about colleagues, friends, family who have passed and have done so much that others value and remember and made a difference in their lives. These are people talking about all they've gotten from someone who wasn't a parent. You don't have to have children to leave a legacy. You don't have to have children to matter to others. So what are some ways to leave a legacy? Volunteer for causes that matter to you. There is no shortage of organizations that can use, welcome, and appreciate the help. Those who volunteer are providing so much benefit to others. And it can be selfish because it really provides an enormous sense of self-worth and accomplishment and such a good feeling when you're helping others. The second is help out others. Doesn't have to be volunteering for a specific cause or organization. How about a neighbor? Maybe you have senior neighbors who could use some company or some help around the home. Don't assume if they do have kids that their kids are there for them. Having kids is not a guarantee of that. Think of the world of good you can do for them. The third is become a mentor with youth, at work, in activism for the causes that matter to you, with family members, colleagues. Share your wisdom. Help them to navigate their struggles. Help them to make something of themselves. Sharing your wisdom, and you don't have to have a specific training or expertise. Life has brought you wisdom. And if you do have a specific expertise, share that. Sharing that knowledge, sharing your wisdom is a fantastic way to leave a legacy. You don't need to share your genes in order to share that knowledge and wisdom. Remember, your worth is not measured by mini-me's. Being childless not by choice is without a doubt difficult, to say the least. And it's okay to acknowledge how this affects your worldview. Your feelings about any future-focused activity, not just recycling, are totally valid. But just remember, your worth isn't measured by whether or not you have kids. It's not measured by how perfectly you recycle or not recycle. It's not measured by anything else that you do that is future thinking. Your existence matters. Your choices, your actions matter. You don't have to raise a kid to raise awareness about a cause that's important to you. Every effort counts, even if it feels like you're wasting effort, because it seems like you're tossing bottles into a black hole in a bin sometimes. Thanks for tuning in to Childless and Moving Onward. Until next time, keep trying to laugh through the chaos. And remember, your efforts may feel small. Sometimes, or most of the time, maybe even they feel meaningless. But they aren't. They're part of something so much bigger that you can contribute to and make meaning for yourself. That's it for this week. I will see you next time. Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode and you know someone who could benefit from this podcast, please share it with them and post about it on social media. There are many other women who are looking for this help and would love to know about it. To catch all the latest from me, you can follow me on Instagram at Childless Path Onward or on Facebook and YouTube at Path Onward. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.